To you that the Office of the President did forward to the ministry a report prepared by a panel of investigators into allegations of the unlawful disposal of fertilizers allegedly by officials of the Ministry of Agriculture and a certain Mr. Diba. Now, we are conducting a review of that file. It's been a few months since they gave it to us, but we're not treating the case any differently from any other case. My ministry is very overwhelmed. We are dealing with a lot of cases. Each of the state council here has a lot of cases to deal with, and it is going through the usual office process of dealing with legal opinions, and we will not treat it in any exceptional way. So the matter is still under review by our ministry, but allow me to also further clarify that the relief by His Excellency of the former Minister of Agriculture, Honorable OJ Jallow, has nothing to do, as far as the ministry is concerned, with the fertilizer case, because we are yet to provide our advice on that matter. There are lots of recommendations in terms of how the government can progress and advance upholding the respect of human rights in this country. Mile 2, certainly we know, holds a lot of horrific stories behind it. The intention of the government is to build a new prison and perhaps use Mile 2 for something else, perhaps a museum or whatever. For the time being, we need to have an alternative. If you close down Mile 2 right now, where do you take prisoners to serve their sentence? And we need to also look for the money. And while Mile 2, of course, closing it down is important in terms of the symbolic value, what I think is perhaps more fundamental is the provision of training, capacity building for the prison wardens who are entrusted with the care of the prisoners, who need to also understand their role and responsibilities as prison wardens. And the assistance from KOICA, from the South Korean government, also includes capacity building and prison reform in the country. So I think, to cut your answer short, or perhaps to cut my response short, I would say that it's an option, closing down Mile 2, but we need to find an alternative in the interim. This ministry has no authority to stay a judgment of the court, and we have not sought to do that. What we have sought to do is to convey our intention to apply for a stay of execution of that judgment, pending an appeal or pending a reference to the Supreme Court. Because as I'm sure you are aware, there are very fundamental issues surrounding that incident. It's a typical constitutional law case where you have one group of people requesting for the exercise of their fundamental right to live and practice their religion in a community, and where, in the interest of public morality or safety, the government has to strike this balance in terms of addressing facilitating the exercise of the rights on one hand, and also maintaining order and public morality on the other in the village. And it's a very, very, I think, serious issue that we are considering, and we are still looking at our options in terms of moving forward. But we had not sought to order for a stay. We communicated our intention to seek a stay. And I have to say, though, that even when the judgment was rendered, the Sheriff's Division conveyed their worry in terms of executing the judgment, because there is, it's a very burning issue in that community. And we don't want to encourage or be the cause of violence. I know the court orders need to be enforced, and they need to be enforced strictly. But on the other hand, if in the public interest we feel that that order should be reviewed, or that another court should look at the facts and perhaps address it more appropriately in the way that we feel as a government it should be, then we have every right to seek for a stay of execution of that order before the courts.